Honourable Minister, let's go off the cuff a little and look at some of the developments that have happened in the country within the past, say, 2 months or 3. The cashless policy comes to mind very easily, one which Nigerians are not too pleased with. And as a matter of fact, you came out on media to say that perhaps we need to, look at the structure of that a little bit. What did you mean by that?
Well, I hate to repeat myself, but if it helps to educate, I will do so. When you look at the law, especially Section 20, subsections 1, 2, and 3 of the Central Bank Act, I believe that was the 2007 version. What it talks about is a currency swap. And the literal definition of a swap is I give you, you give me, in street level language. So if you therefore choose to redesign a particular denomination, let's say 200 naira, and let's say 500 naira, and let's say, as it was the case, 1,000 naira, 3 denominations. It means that every time I bring a 200 naira note, you must give me the new one back. If I bring 200 of it, you must give me 200 of those 200 naira. If I bring 500 of units of 500 naira notes, you must give me back 500. That's what was intended in the law. To now say that everybody should bring all their monies and just drop it in the bank without a corresponding swap was to act outside the letters of the law.
But was that in line with the cashless policy to pull the naira out of the system and then everybody go virtual?
Well, I must confess that I haven't looked at the Central Bank Act in more extensive detail to know whether the cashless policy, as they emphasized it, was within the contemplation of what the law agrees. You see, don't forget that you and I as individuals can do what we like, subject to law, of course. But all statutory institutions, corporations like Central Bank, have no imaginative powers outside the law that sets them up. So once the law setting up a statute says you can only take 4 steps, you can't take 4.5 steps. It will have broken the law. But also, the whole idea of cashless policy and all of that, in other jurisdictions that we see, it is not necessarily so much the absence of cash completely, but rather the absence of large volumes. People still keep some denominations, the 10s, the 20s, and in some cases the 50s, not like the 500s and the 1000s that we keep here. So those are matters, but I think by and large, the bottom line is to understand that as public officers, when we make policies for the public, we must pay a lot of attention to how the public perceives the policy and how it is impacting on them. And if there is any unintended negative consequence, something that we didn't intend to do, and that is harmful, we must be the first to quickly remove it. Because the policy is, after all, not for our own self-benefit. It's for the benefit of the public. So if the person who is wearing the shoe says that this shoe is hurting me, and the idea is not to feel pain, but to make you look elegant, then the first thing I want to do is to say, okay, take it off.
Interesting. Another issue is that of Lagos State, which you've been governor for 8 years. I can imagine that Lagos State is still very dear to your heart. But
it's my home. It's my ancestry.
As a matter of fact, it is. There was a comment by the Indigo, Mr. Frederick, Nigeria Estate, he said he was going to bring in IPOB members to protect their property, and as a result of that, he got arrested and was handed over to the DSS. What likely fears do you think this could snowball into, for lack of a better word?
Well, I think that if people act outside the law, then the important thing is for law enforcement to bring them back onto the path of compliance. And I don't see any snowballing in that. If you break the law, you will be met with the law. That's simple.
And as much as this issue is sensitive,
look, listen, I don't think that we should weaponize bad behavior beyond what is necessary. So we are too connected. We are too connected and too integrated now to be running down a slippery slope. And the way that a few individuals think in a negative way must not become a mantra for all of us to then go at each other's jugular, because when you strip that connection open, you won't like what you see.
it's on that note that we would like to thank you so much indeed, His Excellency the Minister for Works and Housing, Mr. Babatunde Raji Fashola San, who has been a governor of Lagos State for 8 years too. And we do sincerely appreciate you for your efforts in nation building and for the infrastructural works that you have embarked on for the goodness of Nigeria. Thank you so much indeed.
Thank you very much.